Hey guys, this is the third and final installment of the Vegan Mooncat trilogy. If you haven't already, please go back to episode 4 and listen to the episodes chronologically. Otherwise, you may not quite understand some of the callbacks in this episode. Well, let's take it back to women's rights. You know, people were using the same arguments to say that we shouldn't give women votes, right? But some people had their eyes open.
Yes.
And now we're in the future. And pretty much everyone agrees women should be able to vote and have rights.
Yeah.
And now we're in a similar situation with animals. And I wonder, after animals...
I don't think we are. I don't think we are in a similar
Nope.
situation. I want to word this without people bombarding me. And
All right.
a lot of the time, vegans will compare animal rights to the women's rights, for instance, like you say, or slavery, or these other things. You're never going to get people to see that as 99% of people never see that as a valid comparison. It'll never occur because humans are massively think we're better than everything else.
Yeah.
We're way above everything else. It's our planet. You know, everything's here to serve us, and you know they're beneath us. You know, they are not on the same level according to a lot of people. So you'll never get them to. Yes, of course, women deserve the right to vote. They're a human, you know, and it was a wrong and it was an injustice. It's not the same as eating a pig because a pig's just a pig, you know. And I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe a pig should have to die. But you know, I think that would be a hard comparison to sell. That's why I tend not to say it because. Now, I get you entirely. Yeah, I see your point. It's hard to say. I just don't think it's useful in advocacy, from my point of view. Maybe somebody who's been oppressed in a certain way might see it as valid. You know, somebody, you know, if there's a woman who's been oppressed in a certain way, and then you point out the similarities between the way that they were oppressed and, you know, women have been oppressed, and then the animals are oppressed, they may open their eyes, or they may just take offense at it, thinking, you know, why are you comparing what I've been through to what a pig goes through? You know, it's a very difficult thing. Anytime you compare human suffering to animal suffering, you know, maybe in the future, you know, in that shiny, chromy sort of future, we'll see that, you know, at that point. But at the moment, I don't think it's a good comparison. You will lose more people than you will win, almost instantaneously. And you know, don't get me wrong, it's going to change some people's minds.
Sure,
but it's and I don't know the facts and figures, but you got to balance out the ratios here. I mean, say you speak to 1,000 people. And you use the lines like Holocaust, and you use lines like women's rights or slavery, and you convert 2 people, and then 998 of them walk away. I mean, were you effective? If you'd approached it in a different manner, and I'm not saying I'm a master, and I'm not saying I know exactly how to do it, but is there an approach, like you said, is there something we're missing? Is there an approach that, you know, maybe it's one approach doesn't fit all, I don't know, but you know, is there something that we should be doing, something that we're missing, that we can help open people's eyes to their own suffering as well as the suffering they're inflicting, to make the whole world a better place? Now, I think I think for the most part, humans are selfish. And if something benefits them, even slightly, you're more likely to get them to make a change. You know, so so that's why when people go, veganism is just about the animals, stop talking about health, I disagree entirely, because, you know, or you know, because that little bit of selfishness in that human is thinking that there's something in it for them. There's something in it for them. You know, and you're also going to put their mind at rest with all the rhetoric that's gone about that eating a plant-based diet or a vegan diet is unhealthy for you. You know, and you can't get all your minerals and nutrition and everything else. You're tackling that at the same time. You know, so I don't know if we're missing something, but I don't think human comparisons are very good. And I think adding in a lot of stuff into the vegan argument that benefits the human you're trying to turn away from animal products is a good thing.
I know you were in a desperate situation, but you started off for health, and now you're a vegan activist.
Exactly. I mean, not everyone agrees with veganuary because they believe it reduces veganism into more of a dietary sort of thing. But I know people who've done veganuary and are now long-term vegans.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter what anyone thinks, I mean, I know we've got, the clothing aspect of it and, and everything else and all the other things we use animals for. But the main way we use animals is eat them. So if we can attack that, I
Yeah.
think that's the primary way of reducing animal suffering. It's easy enough to, clothing manufacturers are cottoning on, they're stopping using fur, they're getting the hang of, making stuff look like leather, using cactuses and then whatever,
Pineapples, ridiculous
yeah,
things,
exactly.
actually.
Yeah. So, that's all in hand. I'm sure that's going to take care of itself in the end, to be honest, in a way. But the main thing is the food.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't particularly believe that these new products like Beyond Meats and stuff are massively healthy, but they're no more unhealthy for humans than the products they're replacing, and they're definitely a lot better for the animals and the environment and everything else. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if there's if there is something that we're missing. I think one thing that we are definitely missing is people believe they can do anything if the establishment agrees with them.
Yes.
So if you're not getting the government pushing eating a vegan diet and not eating animal products, then they think that, I think that's a major thing that people think it justifies it.
And it's such a catch-22 because the people need to want it first for the government to change.
Yeah. I mean, the governments are always the slowest thing to move. It's always the fringe people that make the governments make the change in the end, isn't it? It's never the governments first.
No.
But but we really need legislation and movement within the government to reduce animal products and make sure that people know that this is not the way forward. But while they're doing nothing, people that really does sort of bolster people's opinions that they're still doing the right thing when eating animals. I think one thing that would really help initially is to stop subsidizing all these industries.
Yeah.
Life is too cheap. There shouldn't be any price. It should be £1 million. It should be an infinite amount of money just to get a sausage. Because morally for certain. But while you can walk into McDonald's and buy I don't know what the price is, a cheeseburger for
still do like 99p burgers or something.
99p burger.
Yeah.
How. And then you go and get like a Beyond Burger and it's like 4 times the price.
Yeah.
If they're going to subsidize anything, it should be the plant-based options.
Yeah, it should be health foods.
Or health foods, like bananas and apples and stuff. Make it even cheaper. I mean, when you go into a shop and like raspberries for like 15 raspberries is £4.
Yeah.
So I can have like these 15 raspberries for £4, or I can go buy 4 McDonald's 99p burgers. That's what they're going to go. Yeah, that's what people end up doing.
If I understand it correctly, it's a like an investment for the government. I don't know what the figures are, but maybe it's about a quarter of the price of animal products is paid by taxes. So the government will pay for that, but because that's brought the price down of these animal products, more people buy them. And then through VAT, the government's making more money back. I think that's the idea.
And we all say that we're making progress, and we definitely are making progress. At telling people that veganism is a great way for everyone, the animals and you. We're definitely getting the message through, but just not enough people.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's not enough people, and and I think that show that I went on just showed people's general reaction to it, in a public manner, like vegan, and I've had that personally in real life as well, where people have had the same sort of reaction. It's like impossible to live like that for the long term.
Yeah.
It's just no. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just insane, isn't it? I know there was no one ever pushed me into to stop eating animal products.
Yeah.
People actively were telling me not to. They'd seen me dying. They'd literally seen me dying, with months to live. And people going, "Oh, you sure just eating plants is going to be healthy enough?" Are you joking me?
Yeah.
You literally joking? So, couldn't you have a bit of cheese? It's like,
cheese?
What? For what? Well, so you've got your calcium. It's like, I could just eat some leafy, dark green vegetables, and
There's
get
a
some
big problem
calcium.
with people thinking we need meat and we need milk and we need so and so, without realizing that what we need actually is the nutrients inside food.
Exactly. You don't need fish for you just need omega-3. You
Yeah,
don't need to eat a pig. You need protein. You
yeah,
don't need all these different things. You literally, like you said, you need the nutrients. The
yeah,
source of them is irrelevant. If you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough protein. It doesn't matter if it's from a bean, or a pig. But the great thing about the plants is you don't get all the horrible things along with it,
yeah.
and no one's dying for the choice.
I think when people understand that, that's putting them on their way to recognizing plant-based as a healthy choice. I'm going to ask you a few questions and then we'll wrap up if you like.
Okie dokie. I went,
Okay.
oh, I don't know what that was. I didn't even say that right.
Oh,
I meant to say okie dokie. Okay.
When you were losing your weight, did you notice any mood changes?
I noticed increased mood, happier mood. You start losing weight, that's going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Your skin doesn't feel like you've got leprosy. I don't know what the word is. I don't know if anyone's ever watched Game of Thrones. But at one point, one of the characters gets something called grayscale, which is like where the skin just is like, it looks like it's turned into stone, and it's like, that's how my skin felt. So that started going away. So that increased my mood. Obviously, I'm losing weight, so at that time we weren't in lockdown as well. So I felt more comfortable to go out and talk to people and socialize, being around people and seeing people you've not seen for a while, maybe, and not feel too embarrassed about it. That increased your mood. You get more activity. So, that starts releasing good things in the brain. I'm never good with these words. Is endorphins.
Yeah.
When you exercise and stuff, so you start feeling a happier mood because you're getting less pain and less aches and less, and your mood just skyrockets. You're still eating a good amount of food, and tasty food and healthy food, and you don't feel like you're doing without. So it's not like you're all miserable thinking, oh God, not another salad, I can't have that again.
And you're full, right? You're not hungry. That's not affecting your mood.
Not hungry. So that's and I think that is one trick that they're really missing out with somebody who's got a severe eating disorder, where they eat a high volume of food. Is they'll stitch your stomach, they'll cut your stomach out and stitch it up. They'll give you the things to suppress your appetite. They'll do all these different things. They just don't think of giving you less calorically dense food and say, knock yourself out.
Seems weirdly obvious right now.
Yeah, it does. And I think the high fiber of eating plants really fills you up. But as far as I'm aware, fiber is non-digestible, so you're filling yourself up with food that you're not going to digest. It's good for the good bacteria, in your stomach, but so you're filling up. So I don't know the percentages, but maybe a certain percentage of the food you're eating is so-called less calorifically dense because some of it's non-digestible by you. Not by you anyway, but it is by the gut bacteria, which are good for you. So you're filling up, but you're not getting all the calories.
And then you poop more regularly, so that's going to help you lose weight.
That's got to be good. You've got it all backing up, and also, while it's all tasty and and everything's nice, I don't find it as, people may take this the wrong way, I don't find it as addictive. I mean, you're talking animal products. If I was to eat a cheese sandwich, I'd want another cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And then I'd want another one like half an hour later. But if I have like a load of what's the word, crudités? Is that the word, like carrots and celery?
That's too fancy for me, man.
I don't know. I won't get into the posh thing. Don't worry. Everyone's calling you posh.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know what it means. And I eat that with hummus or and stuff like that. I don't feel like I need to eat the same food over and over. I don't want it again. I can eat a meal and then I'm not craving more food straight after it, like I used to do.
But even so, you do enjoy the meal.
but I really enjoy the meal, but I'm not craving more food straight after. I can
Yeah.
go like 3 meals a day, or snack on some like fruits and vegetables or whatever, and then still feel feel really satisfied still. I think that comes from this. And now again, look this up, people. I might be completely wrong, but the way I look at it is, if I eat something like white bread with cheese on it, my stomach's full, so my brain goes, all right, he's eating, leave him alone. He's doesn't need to eat again. And half an hour later, an hour later, your body goes, hold on, hold on, hold on. I didn't want what's in that white bread. That's got nothing that I wanted in there. What's this? All this processed fat, this butter, and all this. This is. I asked for antioxidants. I wanted this. This is what I told you to eat, fat boy. I wanted these particular nutrients, and you've given me nothing. You've given me this junk. This utter nonsense. So I'm going to make you hungry again. And then you can eat, and I won't stop until you've given me what I want. So now when I eat, say, like my breakfast, it's a big bowl of porridge with some, you can make it with water, but I choose to make it with oat milk. And then it'll have chia seeds and flax seeds in for omega-3s, berries in there for all the good stuff that's in them. I might put a few other bits and bobs in there. It's and I get a really healthy bowl of porridge. And once I've eaten that, I'm not getting hungry for a while, and and I think one of the reasons is it's a reasonable breakfast. It's not just like a piece of toast, which a lot of people give themselves. But there's also the aspect of the body has got the cells are now getting the nutrition that they bugged you for in the first place, and are no longer making you want to eat again because you gave them crap. Because it's got to have a powerful impact. If you're putting absolute useless junk into your body, which hasn't got anything that the body requires, of course your body's going to tell you need to eat again. And obviously, I've got this. I do have the, as I say, an overeating sort of thing going on anyway, from childhood. But I do think that really helped. The fact that you can eat a large amount of very satisfying food that's very nutritionally dense. So everything chips away at that you wanted to overeat. You're getting the nutrition, so the body's happy. You're full, so you're happy. And it all sort of has a compounding effect to make it easier to stay on a good eating way of eating.
So is this your strong theory, or is this something scientific you've heard?
It may be an actual real thing, but because it may have been a while ago since I read about that,
you can't verify the source right now.
Can't verify the source, so I'm not going to go for it. I'm not going to say it's 100%, but I'm almost sure somewhere I read or watched or something, that information. But feel free to look that up. That that the cells are partially responsible for the feeling of hunger because they want the correct nutritional things to be put in, and when you don't put them in, then it's likely to make you feel hungry again because it didn't get what it wanted.
Wow.
We've got trillions of cells, or however many it is. They've probably got a powerful impact on trying to tell us what we should be doing.
You think so? Yeah.
Well, even the gut bacteria. I read a book. I read a book called 10% Human. Because we're only like 10% human. The rest of us is made up of other organisms. Our bacteria.
Really, 10%.
That's what the book said. And it was talking about all the effect that the gut microbiome has on you, etc., and how it can drive the way we do things. I mean, it's a very scientific-y sort of book, and there's a lot of stuff in there. Anyone who wants to be 10% human, it will go into it a lot more. But so if you feed the good strains of bacteria in your body, then they're going to have a lot of good health benefits for you, and maybe change a lot of aspects of how your body acts. Whereas if it's full of bad bacteria, you're screwed. But it was linking different things to different stuff like autism, and there was a lot of other things in there. It's very scientific, so I won't quote it. I won't misquote it.
Okay.
Good book, 10% Human. It made perfect sense when I read it. It's also available on Audible, I think. I'm not getting a kickback here, people, but it's
Yeah.
also available on Audible
It's
if you want
written
to.
for the normal person too, right? It's not too
Yeah,
jargony. Okay.
yeah.
How does your family feel about veganism?
They're very happy to be vegan now.
Okay.
Initially, I noticed a lot of health benefits, and obviously I was doing very well. And I also obviously became vegan, so went into the ethical aspect of it, and
Mhm.
therefore can't imagine why I would want any of my family to carry on eating animals ethically or health wise. Because I mean, as a responsible parent, I've got 4 children. And
Yeah.
I know that the eating animal products is opening them up to all future illnesses, like I had. Maybe not to the same extremes, but I don't know. Leading number one killer, heart disease. I don't want them
Yeah.
to have early heart attacks and things like that. I want them to live long, prosperous lives. And Cherie, my wife. So I like many people who discover veganism or something that improves their health as well, the combination of the two, I got very preachy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I got very, very, very intense with
We
it
all
to a
do,
degree.
especially when you start.
Exactly. Your eyes, and I think some of that stems from guilt. You realize
Mhm.
the harm that it's causing, and you just want it. You almost, I think, subconsciously think if you stop other people doing it, then somehow you'll make up for a bit of all the horrible stuff you've done.
Yeah.
Also, you just want their suffering to stop. Once you see an atrocity, it's hard to just turn a blind eye. You want it to change, so you do go for it. You really do go for it. And then and then with having the children and Cherie and stuff, you want them to be as healthy as possible. And
Yeah.
up till then, I thought they needed milk
Yeah.
for calcium and meat for protein, and all these other lies that we get fed.
Yeah.
And I realized that they didn't need that anymore, and that there was better alternatives, better fuel. So I wanted them to go, but unfortunately, I'd instilled bad habits in them.
Yeah.
I'd been an uneducated father in what the kids should really be eating, like most of the world, though. To be honest, we're just gone with the norm, and I'd encouraged them in ways, and they developed habits.
Yeah.
So they were harder to break. So initially, I took chicken nuggets off them, but I gave them vegan nuggets. So I couldn't make. I still can't make them go Whole Foods. So they do eat a lot more sort of like of the vegan alternatives,
Yeah.
but as I say, they're still healthier than their animal-based alternatives, and no animals are suffering for them. So that's a win. But I do keep pushing the Whole Foods, chipping away, trying my best.
Well, it's
So
like any parent, isn't it? Like eat your vegetables, whatever you think is healthy, you're going to push to your children to eat.
yeah, exactly. So
So I'm just conscious, maybe there's someone listening to this who thinks maybe you're forcing your diet on your children. Obviously, I don't agree with that,
maybe
but
to a degree,
but that's parenting, isn't it?
but that's my prerogative. I mean, if I'm forcing something on my children that is harming them,
Yeah.
then someone needs to interfere.
Yeah.
Someone needs to come, and they need to come, and they need to look at how and what I'm doing with my children. So
Yeah.
if, like, some of these things that have been in the news, where I can't remember exactly what it was, but where somebody's just feeding their children orange juice and kiwi fruit or whatever it is, I can't remember what that was, and they're making their kids malnourished,
Yeah.
then someone needs to step in. But even though it's still a bit contradictory that no one steps in when kids are being fed hamburgers and all these other things, and
Yeah, it's
killing them.
interesting, right?
There's a bit of a standard there. But any again, that's because it's normalized. But anytime anyone's doing an extreme thing that is harming their children, or then someone needs to step in. But my children's health has improved since veganism. One of my children, my eldest son, he has Asperger's, and he had a very difficult time with food textures and different things, and he's had that his whole life. So he's always been underweight. It's only since going vegan and me telling him about the ethical aspect of it, because it was ethical with William, that he decided he had to be vegan. But then I told him he wasn't allowed to be vegan unless he was eating food that was nutritionally, would keep him healthy.
Okay.
It's hard to say. I mean, he used to eat a lot of animal products. He would eat a lot of milk, obviously. A lot of ham. These sorts of things. And I said, yes, I want you to give those up, but you've got to realize you're going to need to eat this, otherwise you'll be ill. But I don't like that. But I don't like that. But you want to be vegan, you're going to have to eat that. Because otherwise you'll need. I don't like beans, but if you don't eat beans, then you won't get enough of this. I don't like green leafy vegetables. I don't like that sort of thing. And I don't like this and don't like that. Then you won't get enough calcium. You won't get enough of this. You won't get enough of this. So if you want to give up these other products that are filling nutritional, gaps in at the moment because you're a picky eater, and you're going to have to eat a whole range of plant foods that will make you healthy. You wouldn't eat fruit, for instance. He was really struggling to make him eat fruit, and because I was an unhealthy individual that really didn't eat any fruit either, I never really pushed it. So but now I am. Now I'm in that position where I know what's right and wrong, and my eyes are open, and I know about my responsibilities to my children. And he's now come up to the correct weight.
Oh, good.
He eats fruits and vegetables. He substituted dairy for oat milk, so he can still eat his cereals that he likes, and he obviously now eats stuff like chickpea curry and all these other things. So he's eating very healthily now. He eats some vegan junk food. He'll eat spicy Doritos because he's a kid, and they still have vegan nuggets, and things like that. But I try to do, but he'll eat whole grain rice and quinoa, and he'll eat these other things. My son Thomas will pretty much eat anything I give him. He's the loveliest, most compliant children on the entire planet. He will literally go, "That's what you're having for tea. Enjoy," and he'll eat it. And for the most part, he'll never say anything, And I've spoke to him about the ethical side, and we've watched things. People may not agree with that. People may agree with that, but it's the truth. And if you're willing to let them watch lies, what's wrong with letting them watch the truth? I wait for them to get to a certain age. I didn't just say, "Hello, 3-year-old you, watch Earthlings." No, I didn't do that. But at a certain level, a certain age, certain level of maturity, then I think they should be able to watch those sorts of things. And meanwhile, you can be planting the seeds and giving them the right knowledge and giving them the correct information without obviously disturbing them. My son now initially, Thomas would struggle a little bit. When he was at school, I told him he had to get the jacket potato and beans and vegetables and stuff and whatever. And then you would look on this thing and he'd got the burger. You can see what he was eating. And then I explained to him that that wasn't healthy for his own because he struggles with his own weight. It wasn't going to help him with that. And then they ethically explained more about what happens to cows, etc. Didn't take him long. He got his head around it. He was in habits that I helped him form. It took him a while to transition over. He's a young kid. He doesn't feel ill. He didn't see a particular need. Why initially he needs change to these other things. He felt okay. So my daughter Bella, wow, willful child. Because you can't see the suffering in a Haribo. And it's I got to see the point of not eating meat, and and you can get the nutrition from here, and switched it to non-dairy other products. But there's these hidden things, these and these things that they gear towards children, like Haribo and stuff. So, but then you end up you say, well, I'm going to have to let them have some of the stuff that's not particularly healthy, to avoid them eating those things. So you get them candy kittens or Starburst.
Or
a vegan sweets of some description, so they can still have them because they are children. Children eat junk sometimes, what can you say? I'll let them have. My eldest daughter, She went vegetarian by her own choice. And then after I spoke to her several times about several things, and then she went away and looked at things, she went vegan, and she's been vegan for a good few years as well now.
Brilliant.
And Cherie's my wife. I'm naming everyone here. You've got all our details. Cherie, my wife.
You're going to take it alone in your name, mate.
Good luck. Cherie, she went vegetarian initially as well. Couldn't give up the cheese and the milk. You know, it's like that whole thing. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want to eat. You know, she liked halloumi, and she liked cow's milk, and she liked it on a cereal. And you know, she tried oat milk. She tried almond milk, didn't like it. Tried this, didn't like it. Couldn't get her to switch. And then I said, right, we're going through every single milk until you find a plant milk that you don't despise. Oat milk did it. You know.
Yeah.
Oat milk did it, you know, because Cherie doesn't want to watch. She's watched some of the documentaries now, but she doesn't want to watch it as much as that. She hasn't watched anywhere near what I've watched.
Sure.
So eventually she got her head around that, and she and then weaned herself off the cheese.
It's the last thing for many people.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's the thing that you can't see as much harm in. We've got this image of somebody happy cow in a field being milked by a guy on a stool, and the cow's laughing its head off and thinks it's the best day ever, living to ripe old age. You know, it's the opposite, obviously, to everything that goes on. But people can't see the harm as much.
That's right.
You know, so it's. But yeah, now she's changed. Now we're on to my mum now.
We're going for the whole family. Okay.
Yeah, we're going for my mum now. 70 odd years old, 76, I think, 75, 76 now. I should know, shouldn't I? My mum's never been a particularly unhealthy person, to be honest. She's never really carried a lot of excess weight. She's never had many illnesses. She had a dodgy knee, but you know, generally she's been okay. You want your parent, you want all your family, you love them, you want them to be around us for as long as possible. And I would never be able to get her to watch any of the footage. She will not open her eyes to actual full veganism. She will not go down the road of thinking she's 70 odd years old. She's been programmed into thinking animals are there for our consumption. It's a big ask, you know, when people get to those sorts of ages. But she's now on oat milk. She no longer eats any meat. I've got her into that. She initially started losing weight because she didn't realize, even though I told her that you had to put, beans and higher, and all these other things. You can't just remove. You have to add the vegan alternatives in there to be healthy. But now she's got that. She's stabilized. She's feeling very well. Or actually, she used to get a lot of inflammation in her joints and stuff, which seems to have really died down. She used to get a lot of reflux. Acid reflux, which she doesn't have anymore. And she's feeling very well. And I'd say she's, again, if she buys a packet of biscuits, she might not always check if it's got some milk in. She's not 100%. She's not like a vegan there with a magnifying glass,
vegan like us.
Looking at every single thing in the supermarket. Going, that's the small print. Where is it? It may not be in bold, but I still don't believe you. I'm reading every ingredient.
E-numbers app.
I'm checking this 4 times in case I missed the word milk or gelatin. So occasionally stuff will slip in there, but she's done well. She's made a massive change. It's improved her health, and hopefully it'll mean that my mum's around for longer. And the other important thing is less animals are dying, which is always good.
Win-win-win all round. Yeah,
but my brother Paul, I'll go for that. Yeah, you can have everyone's names, people. Everyone's, he tried. I believe he tried so hard. He was like 5-6 days a week. He was fully plant-based. But he saw it as a full diet. It was completely plant-based. It was nothing to do with veganism. He wasn't feeling very well. He put on a bit of weight, not a massive amount, but a bit, and he wanted to feel better, and he did. He lost weight. He felt better. He was all right, but then he had a bit of trouble. Felt it's a diet though, so he can cheat. So he went and had a kebab, and before you know it, over a period of months, all his good work was undone.
Oh,
and he was back where he was, and now he's trying to get back to where that. But every time you knock yourself out of the momentum, it's always get harder to get back on it, isn't it?
yeah, that's right.
But he's desperately trying now, and he's introduced more plant-based days again. And I've said to him, "You got to watch the documentaries. You've got to read more about what's going into your food, or who's going into your food, and then you'll feel less like popping them in your mouth, you know."
Yeah.
So then everyone's a winner, but he doesn't want to. You don't want to watch it, I don't think. He watched
Difficult
Game
to watch.
Changers. He watched Game
Yeah.
Changers. It's a very palatable way of getting a healthy sort of plant-based diet over to people.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that documentary is it does show that you can be very healthy eating just plants. There's not much about ethical considerations in there, but
Yeah.
it does undo one of the myths that that vegans are unhealthy, like zombies sitting in the corner somewhere, pale, nibbling on leaves. At least it gets rid of that stereotype, which is good. But yeah, that's so again, that's where I was going back to saying before. It's me being a vegan. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't have that moment of screw it.
Yeah.
It won't harm. but I'm going to be brutally honest, and not all vegan food is made equal though. And whatever you need to eat to stop eating animals is absolutely fine with me. If you need to eat processed vegan food or whatever to stop eating animals, do it. Absolutely do it. If you also want to optimize your own health, don't use much of it. use whole plant foods. Past few months since lockdown, I've found it a real struggle, and I've introduced, especially since my back went bad and I've not been stood on my feet as much, I've been introducing more vegan processed foods, and I've not felt anywhere near as healthy. There's an aspect of inactivity, but food-wise, I've felt less good, less energy. I've been speaking to my awesome friend Paul from Hench Herbivore. Anyone not subscribed to Paul, you get subscribed now. We'll come around and stomp on your toys. He was concerned about me because he saw on my videos that I'd put on a little bit of weight. Not much, but some. He said, "Well, you feeling all right, Mark?" I said, "No, not really." I said, "I'm eating a lot of it. I'm eating more of this stuff, and then come on, not eating as many of the whole foods." And I said, "All right, that's it. It stops now." And he's checking in with me daily. He's at the moment he's keeping me on track. I'm reporting back to him how I'm doing. What I've eaten. That's a great thing about having accountability. I've got accountability to the animals, so I won't eat them. I won't eat them because I'm accountable to them. I know that I owe them what I owe them. I owe them they deserve the right to live. But accountability for protecting my own health is something that at the moment I needed. So Paul stepped up and he's checking on me and he's getting me back on the whole foods. So for anyone out there, if you're not fussed about your health, eat what you want as long as it's not an animal. But if you do want to maximize the benefits of being a vegan, I really wholly recommend going on a whole foods vegan diet and keep the minimal, the processed stuff and the oils to an absolute minimum. You'll feel so much better. And stave off a lot of the diseases which can take us down. Because oil's a killer whether or not you're a vegan or you're not a vegan. And processed crisps and vegan coconut-based cheeses and all this stuff all seems a great substitute. But if you they help not killing animals, but if they won't do your health as much good as you just eat the whole food. So want to maximize your own health, go over. So Paul's keeping his eye on me, and I am feeling better. We've noticed since introducing a few of them, they've pushed out some of the healthier stuff that I was eating, causing some nutritional gaps in my diet. In my eating. For instance, I used to eat I'm used to eating the porridge and everything else, or the smoothies in the morning and stuff like that. And with the back pain, I couldn't be bothered staying in the kitchen, so I just have some toast. But because I was having the toast, I wasn't remembering to put the chia seeds and the flax seeds into my morning food, which are my omega-3s.
Hmm.
For instance, which so my omega-6 levels were probably too high, causing inflammatory response in the body, which was causing maybe partially responsible for the back issue I'm currently suffering. So, it needs tweaking back. It needs to go back where it was. It's what made me feel healthy. It's what I enjoyed, and yeah. So that's just my thing. It's whatever you eat, as long as it's not an animal, that's you vegan. But if you want to improve your own human health as well, stay with the whole plant foods, people.
Absolutely. I can ask you one last question. What would you say to someone who's listening right now who is in a similar position to how you were 3 years ago?
Sneaky sod. It's a strange one, really, because there's so many things you could say, isn't there? I mean, I know what it's like. Sometimes people put on a brave face and they'll smile, and if somebody nips around the house, they're grinning, and it's like, yeah, oh, yeah, I'm fine, nothing wrong with me, I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. And deep down inside, they feel like they're just dying, So I know where people are. You can get to a really, really dark place, and you go to somewhere where you feel it's impossible to recover from, but you can recover from it. You can recover it, but you can't expect someone else to fix it for you. The only person who can fix you when you're in the kind of position I was is yourself. The doctors can keep you going on the drugs while you fix yourself, until you no longer need them. I'm not saying don't take the drugs that the doctors give you, because at that time you're in a position, you've got yourself in a state, and you'll need them until you're in the clear. And I kept on them, the blood thinners and all the other stuff until the diseases started dropping off. So stay on what you prescribed and until you're getting yourself healthier. So I would 100% recommend going whole foods, plant-based as the healthiest diet, and it's proven to be the healthiest way of eating by a massive amount of scientific evidence. But initially you might find it difficult to just go straight in, because you've eaten terrible. You've eaten a terrible diet if you get yourself to 34 stone, obviously, and it might be worth. I won't let it drag on. I wouldn't let it drag on, but maybe a couple of weeks that you give yourself, where you wean yourself off the bad food and onto the good. Especially watch things like beans, because they're one of the culprits to give you bloating and uncomfortable feeling initially, and just get yourself weaned. But I wouldn't. Don't let it go on. Don't let it prolong. Otherwise you're risking it. So just set a plan. Say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to slowly reduce the food at this rate. Also get an app such as Chronometer or anything that monitors your nutrition and what you're eating, to make sure that you are eating enough calories as well. The last thing you want to do is make yourself feel underfed, because you'll feel that you're doing without something, and you're missing out, and that way your body will crave the higher calorie foods again, because you're in a calorie deficit. So it will go, oh, well, that chicken was higher calorie. Let's have that. So let's make sure that you are monitoring it and making sure you are eating enough. Don't starve yourself. I would also recommend that if you've got certain favorite meals, veganize them. So, don't give up your favorite curry, because it had meat in it. Just take the meat out and stick potatoes or chickpeas or beans or something else in there, or vegetables or whatever, or tempeh, or even or tofu, especially initially, because they could help with the transition. If you want to transition, maybe they're a good food to help you transition as well, because they've had some of the fiber removed, so they're easier on the gut than beans. So that's really good. And you can get yourself down like I did as well, and you think other people are better off without you. Number one, mostly they're not better off without you. The world is better off with you. You don't get yourself so down about yourself that you feel like the world is better off without you. Maybe you're not being your most productive at that point because of the state you've got yourself in, but you can turn things around, and you can be a productive influence in everyone else's life around you, and you can become a useful person once again and take on the responsibilities that will give you a sense of purpose in life. So I really, really do think that there's that aspect of it too. I'm going to go on on here forever, aren't I? It's just like you only wanted a quick one.
Only wanted like 5 words.
Also, I think don't just stay plant-based. If you only think of it as a diet, you will notice improvements, obviously, to your own health, and you'll feel better. But you are programmed. You are literally programmed with those other foods in your brain to be as food, as an option. And while they're in your brain as an option, one day you will revert. One day you will go back and you will say, like a couple of months later, it won't matter. I'm out with my friends. I can have that 5 meat pizza or, whatever, just that once as a treat, So what you want to do, and I don't obviously want to have to quote what everyone else quotes, but but it's true. Watch Dominion, watch Earthlings, watch Land of Hope and Glory, watch all the documentaries, because unless you're willing to walk into a slaughterhouse yourself, or whatever, and see the horrendous things that go on, you'll need to watch in a way that somebody else has already done that for you. And you'll need to watch what goes on in a different way. So watch those and open your eyes, make yourself care. Stop being blinded to the fact that people want you to eat this to make them money, so then they can sell you drugs to keep you alive. And all the time, there's a victim in the background suffering. You're not the only one. You think you sat there and you think you're the only one suffering. Billions of other beings are suffering, for our choices. And even if you're not willing to do it for your family because you think they're better off without you, even if you think that your time is limited, don't take them down with you. Yeah. But your time isn't limited. Your time is only limited because the choices that you're making, for the most part. Sometimes people are just ill beyond. But you can definitely improve most things. Doing what I did, viewing it as a diet initially to improve your own health and get yourself right is perfectly acceptable, but it will not last you the long term. I don't think so. I might be wrong. Maybe somebody could be plant-based for life, and never watch anything about animals and just always do it for their own health. Maybe they could, but I doubt it. Because that you have to care for something bigger. You have to care about something larger than you. You need to realize that every time you put something in your mouth, there's somebody who suffered for that bite, every single bite that you take. And really, once you've got that in your head, and you know what? A lot of vegans say, yeah, I watched that sort of footage when I went vegan, but I won't watch it again because I know what's going on. I disagree with that as well. I think we should watch it periodically, even as a vegan, because not only does it remind us why we're vegan, because things can sometimes if you don't
get like blurry in the background.
Blurry, it's like blurry in the background, like you say, and you forget the horror. Well, you don't forget it, but it lessens, in your memory. So I think you should watch it again. Remind yourself, if new stuff comes out, watch that. Watch the old stuff again. Keep reminding yourself. You remember, you've been brainwashed for a great deal of, in my case, 40 odd years of my life. And I need to make sure that none of that brainwashing creeps its way back into my subconscious. I think I've done it now. It's not coming back. Don't worry. It's gone now. It's gone. But I will still watch this stuff. I will still watch it because I think it's important. And then I think the other thing is, initially concentrate on yourself. Obviously, try and go vegan. Realize that there's somebody else suffering, and then I would say pass it on. Try and realize that, like I did, that I was in a terrible place. And, while I might be trying to do a lot for the animals, I'm also doing it for people, to show people that they don't need to be ill, that they don't need to be near death's door and have a terrible life. So pass that on. If it's social media, post what you're eating, post your journey. I also find that posting what I'm eating and what I'm doing on social media gives me, like with Paul, when I mentioned before, accountability. So one of the greatest things about is if you're trying to lose weight, this is slimming clubs aren't successful because of what they tell you to eat. Slimming clubs are successful because people know at the end of the week they're going to have to go stand on scales and be accountable. That is the only reason why slimming clubs work, in my opinion, is because of the accountability aspect of it. So if you're posting your food and what you're doing and your plant-based meals, not only could you possibly help somebody else by seeing a good decent plant-based meal which they try and they improve their health and harm less animals, you're also showing the world. So that day that you think, oh, you know what, I'm going to eat myself a cheeky vegan pizza, and you think, hold on, put my tea. I've got to put my dinner on Instagram. Someone's going to see me eating this shockingly bad pizza with vegan cheese all over it. That's not going to be good. Oh crap! I'm going to have to go make something decent, Anna. It's the accountability aspects of it. And I think that really helps. And I think again, this is going to be the longest answer you've ever had. I think the other thing is as well is don't be alone. There's not many vegans, there's not many plant-based people, and it can be very isolating because you talk to friends and family, you go out with people or whatever, and everyone's talking about for example, at my work, when I went vegan, it was only when I went vegan that I realized how much people talk about food. Oh, what are you having for breakfast? What did you have for breakfast? Oh, what are you having for dinner? What are you having for tea tonight? Oh, I had this great, you won't believe what I had the other night. It was amazing. And you're sat there and you're eating your healthy, tasty, good food, but everyone else talking about all the stuff that you used to be addicted to. So you do feel slightly isolated. And I think it really does you good to reach out to the broader vegan community, to other people, to swap meal ideas, to talk to people, and try and make a circle of even if it's virtual friends, because there's maybe not many in your area. It might not be a big if there's a big vegan scene, go make friends with them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go do it. That'd be amazing. Where I live, it's not much, but try and associate with like-minded people, and therefore you won't feel like you're just like this fringe person, like I'm the only one, and on those days when you're feeling like I haven't got a good meal idea, what can I have? Then you look at somebody that you talk to on Instagram or you followed, and you see something they put on, you think, oh, that's a really good looking bit of food. I'll have that. So I think making sure that you reach out and don't feel alone is a major part. And again, that goes to like initially when you go vegan, if you start feeling like bloated or anything, you won't be the first person who changed the diet that had slightly transitional effects, so reach out and get some advice. I've been feeling really bloated last week too since I started on the whole foods. Anyone got any ideas? And people might go, well, what are you eating? And then they'll say, oh, well, I'm eating this and this. Oh yeah, that really got me going for the first few weeks. Swap it out for this, so you don't need to be alone. I said enough.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm like. I just keep talking. This could be like a 22-hour podcast. It's altogether possible.
10-parter, mate. Well, Mag, thank you so much for talking to me for the past 2.5 hours.
No way.
About your journey. Yeah, really. And we can catch you online. You're on Facebook. You're on YouTube. You're on Twitter. Are you really on Tumblr?
I believe I am. It was just an option. I use a particular app that posts everything simultaneously.
Oh, so, I see.
And it's like, oh, I don't really use Tumblr, but we'll do it anyway. It's like, so, but I think the primary places I do is I put my primary source for what I eat on a daily basis and, sort of life updates, if you will, is Instagram at the Vegan Mooncat. And I'm also trying to build up the YouTube channel, which is a primary thing that I'm trying to do as well, which is the Vegan Mooncat, which is full of some of the health stuff. I've got some recipes on there. I've also got some videos for vegans just to cheer us up and be silly. I've also got some videos that are funny with an underlying serious tone for non-vegans to try and sort of get a message over in a way that is palatable. And I've also got some videos which are a bit harder hitting, obviously, and a bit more tricky, maybe to watch. So, but if I've got any of them, they do say sensitive or warning at the beginning. But as I say, it's more sketch-based humor, which I've chosen as my avenue to try and get over the message. So on that channel, so it's not going to be like you won't be able to sleep for a week, or maybe you won't. I don't know.
Brilliant. Well, I'll let you tend to your dog. She sounds hungry.
Yeah, he's my daughter's
Okay.
just brought the new puppy in, and he's always after attention. Always
Okay.
after attention.
I'll let you give him some attention then. Thanks again, and thanks to everyone for listening.